Hey everyone, Reflected here, and today I'd like to deep dive into the comms and procedures used by the US Navy in the Pacific in World War II. With 3 Pacific campaigns in the pipeline, 1 for the Corsair and 2 for the Hellcat, I thought it's best if I make a tutorial where I explain everything. Let me begin with a disclaimer. The ETO is very well documented, and when I build USAAF campaigns, I know exactly all the call signs, the comms flow, even the radio channelization, because I have detailed sources about it. As I said, there are considerably less resources available about the Pacific, so I had to use the pieces I had and fill in the blanks myself. What I'm going to explain might be inaccurate, so if you have better information available, please let me know in the comments. Still, this is the result of years of research to the best of my ability. So let's start with the call signs, shall we? Each task group had a maneuvering board with all the ships in it. Each ship had a call sign, including the 4 carriers, plus a separate call sign for the flag, the admiral aboard the flagship. In our example here, it's Monarch. There were usually 2 large carriers, CVs, and 2 CVLs, so light carriers. Here we have the Intrepid, call sign Lucky, and the Yorktown, call sign Cole. Then the Langley, call sign Fargo, as well as the Independence, call sign Topaz. Aircraft based on these carriers would inherit the parent ship's call sign, and the ships would be called bases. For example, when you hear Lucky Base calling Lucky 1, that means the Intrepid is calling the 1st Division of its aircraft. Lucky 1-3 would be the section lead in the 1st Division from the Intrepid. Cole 3-1 would be the lead of the 3rd Division from the Yorktown. Divisions 1 to 3 were usually reserved for fighters, 4 to 6 to bombers, and 8 to 9 to torpedo bombers. These numbers have nothing to do with the side number of the aircraft. Clear so far? On top of these tactical call signs, each aircraft had a specific call sign which was rarely used in combat. For example, a Corsair with the side number 21 would be called Fox 21 for fighter. A Dauntless number 6 would be referred to Sugar 6, as for scout. If you want to identify the air group they're from, you add this number to the beginning, so 10 Ter 62 would be an Avenger torpedo bomber from Carrier Air Group 10 with the side number 62. Nowadays, a carrier has a carrier air wing with all sorts of squadrons, VF-84 with VF-81, VF-A-35, etc. In World War II, it was much more straightforward. Carrier Air Group 9 consisted of VF-9, VFB-9, a fighter bomber unit, both flying Hellcats, VB-9, flying Helldivers, and VT-9, flying Avengers. Now, these aircraft usually operated in strike packages. A number of strikes were scheduled for each day. The first strike would be Strike 1 Able, the second, Strike 1 Baker, then Strike 1 Charlie, easy, that baby dog. The call sign of the first strike off the Intrepid would be Lucky Strike 1 Able. What the 1 means, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it means which ship the package is from. So in our example, the first strike off the Yorktown would be called Strike 2 Able, but I wouldn't bet my life on it. Surely it didn't mean the number of strikes that day, nor the number of days into the operations. I've never seen Strike 3 Able mentioned anywhere. The strike would launch, regroup. The procedure depended on whether it's a pre-dawn launch or a day launch. Check out my World War II Carrier Ops tutorial for more details. And they'd set course to the target at the brief time. As they fly away from the task group, control would be passed on to a radar picket destroyer. These were usually on station in the vicinity of the target. Here's a map of the radar pickets around Okinawa. Each carrier, as well as the other ships and radar pickets, had radar scanning the skies and an FDO, a fighter director officer. I think they rotated which ship was on duty. After hitting their target, they'd transmit the damage report in the blind twice and fly to the rendezvous point, usually 5 to 10 miles off the enemy coast. Then head back to the ship together at the brief time. Aircraft returning separately or in flight would quickly overwhelm the FDOs who would have no idea who's friendly or who's the enemy. The formation also had to approach the task group from a brief direction using YEZB. If you approached from another direction, you may have been shot out of the sky by the ship's gunners. As they got close to the task group, they would switch to the carrier's frequency. then orbit in the assigned sector of the day outside of the task group until the carrier would give them the call Prep Charlie. Then they could proceed overhead and the rest of the recovery would go zip-lip without any radio comms. Now let's talk about the radios. According to a source I found, the 4 preset channels used on aircraft were called Able, Uncle, Queen, and William. This probably changed over the course of the war. So Able was all ships guard. This was used while operating around the task group, launching, recovering, or by cap fighters overhead the task group. Channel Uncle was used by strikes as well as target caps. Channel Queen was designated to search and rescue, ResCap and rescue subs, and Channel William was for night fighters. In my campaign, you'll be able to listen to Radio Tokyo on Channel William, a station that played good Western music, interrupted by propaganda messages from Tokyo Rose and POWs with the aim to destroy the morale of the enemy, but US servicemen usually just laughed it off and enjoyed the music. Something you may hear on Channel Able was the status of the ships. They didn't say, "Hey, we are ready to launch 3 divisions of cap fighters." They said, "Coal base, condition Fox 3. Here's a document explaining all the codes. Condition George, deck fouled. George 10, it's going to be fouled for another 10 minutes approximately. Condition Mike, deck is ready to land cap. Condition Love, land cap or landed cap. Condition Fox 2, ready to launch 2 divisions of cap. Condition Hal, launching 8 cap fighters. Hal plus 4 would mean launching 12 cap fighters. Condition Jig 3, 3 divisions of cap airborne. Jig X-ray would be high patrol and Jig Zebra would be low patrol. Condition King, launch all available cap. The answer to these would be affirmative or negative. If you precede the condition with interrogatory, then you frame it as a question, and if you proceed with execute, that's an order to be carried out. Once the cap or the strikers were airborne, they may be asked to report weather. This was the task group's main source of information about the weather conditions. Coal 1, report weather. Coal 1 to coal base, weather is 30, 5, 4, 6, over. What does this mean? It means visibility is 30 miles, cloud cover is 5/10, the cloud base is at 4,000 feet, topping out at 6,000. In the event you ever need to call for help on Channel Queen and organize a rescue, you may say 25 Dingle Dangle 0900 Topaz Chicken Goodyear Evergreen. You didn't understand a word of that. Good, nor did the enemy. It means the downed pilot is 25 miles from the point codenamed Dingle Dangle, it can be any pre-briefed point on the map, in the direction of 090 degrees. He's from the USS Independence. It's a fighter as opposed to a hawk, meaning a bomber. The pilot is on a raft, and the green dye marker has been deployed to make the location more visible for search aircraft. Alright, that's it in a nutshell. I hope you learned something new, and this will help you navigate your way through my upcoming Pacific DCS campaigns. If you have any info to add or correct anything I said, please let me know in the comments below. Now, one more thing before I say goodbye. This next part is sponsored by Pimax, who I teamed up with recently. If you want to fly these campaigns in VR with unprecedented clarity, you can get their headsets through me with a discount. They've also got a PC VR upgrade deal right now, so if you've owned any other headset, just submit your old headset's proof of purchase to unlock a special upgrade discount, and don't forget to fill in my channel's coupon code to get extra comfort accessories as a gift. If you're interested, click the submission access link below for more details. It's all in the video description. Alright, leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. See ya!